Very good morning, students. Today I will cover my lecture, not a new topic, not a new topic of the first module, but I will discuss the easiest version of the Schrodinger time independent wave equation that was shared with you a few weeks back with a PDF version. Right. I did not upload any video of that, but in a doubt clearing class, I came to know that it will be better for you if I can upload an easiest version of Schrodinger time independent wave equation. So here today I am here to explain that kind of easiest version in the quantum mechanics of Schrodinger time independent wave equation. I think that it will be very much easier and simplified version that you will better understand rather than the previous PDF lecture shared with you. This was a harder one, a complex one. I think you faced some problems, so that's why in the doubt clearing class you came to me and told to upload that video of the easiest version. But I think that today you will be much more comfortable when you will go through the overall video lecture of Schrodinger time independent wave equation. So please go through step by step. I have used nothing complexity, nothing harder terms over here. I think that it is comparable at your level that you can understand easily, right? Okay. So today I will first of all that which are the points I am going to cover. Obviously today I will cover this oldest lecture in a simplified version, but rather than that I will explain the concept of degeneracy that is incorporated in your first module. Is a very important term in terms of the energy level of an electron with respect to the quantum mechanics prospective view, right? Okay, so first of all I will explain these kind of equations, their derivations, and explaining all, and in the next lecture I will explain a very important topic regarding degeneracy. What do you mean by degeneracy, and how degeneracy is created, and how we can calculate the degeneracy by some easiest problems. So please wait till that for next lecture. But the first lecture I will explain this kind of derivation of Schrodinger time independent wave equation, right? Okay, so let's start. This kind of explanations I have already given to you, but today I will explain once again. That will be better for you. Is it visible? Okay. First of all, I am here that an electron is moving, right? And the moving nature can be represented in terms of a wave, right? In terms of a wave. So this kind of wave, okay. So suppose an electron, an elementary particle moving in the positive x direction, right? I am doing in a very easiest way. I think that except this lecture, there will be no easiest way that you can represent the Schrodinger time independent wave equation, right? Okay, so suppose the electron, an elementary particle moving in a positive x direction, and with its nature, its wavical nature, will be just like a wave, right? So electron is moving in a positive x direction with the nature that is nothing but like a wave, right? So these will be explained by using the Schrodinger wave equation, and that is almost time independent, right? So there will be no terms of t because this will be a function of x. That is already known to you. Okay, now this is a wave, right? So how can we express this wave? Okay, this is a question. So how can we express this kind of wave? Is a very big question, right? So wave means according to classical physics. Okay, so in this context I must say that one of you asked me that if I can explain the difference between the classical physics and the quantum physics, and I have made a plan that I will give you a total idea, a total map of the physics, that where the total difference, the total interconnection between classical physics, modern physics, and as well as the quantum physics, what is the relativity, everything. So I think that I will upload a lecture very soon. Suppose it will be in the next week, that to give you an idea, a total map, right, a total map of the physics, where it came, and now in today's scenario where we are standing by, right? So wait for that video, that I will clearly explain that what are the key differences between your classical physics, between your modern physics, and as well as in the quantum physics, because quantum physics is the module that is incorporated in your syllabus. So we will focus mainly on the quantum physics, but we must know the difference. Okay, so that's why we can differentiate, we can compare, and we can segregate that where it was and where we are, right? So whenever we are getting this wavical nature according to classical theory of the physics, because classical theory means it's nothing but Newton's law. Just a simple example, Newton's laws of motion. Okay, and so according to classical theory, if it's a wave, right, so if we can explain in terms of classical physics, if it is a wave, then it must have a vibration, it must have a frequency, it must have an amplitude, right, it must have an amplitude, and it must have a phase. Okay, so various parameters are associated with that now. Okay, but now we can represent any wave function that is also known to you, and the wave function is denoted by psi, and psi equal to psi naught sine omega t minus k of x. It is already known in your time dependent Schrodinger wave equation. It's a very simple, and there is no need to explain that why it is, right? So the important point is that psi is a wave function, and psi naught is nothing but the initial value, right? Initial amplitude. Okay, so you must note the points that psi 0 by psi naught is the initial value, psi is a wave function. What is omega? Omega is nothing but the angular velocity, and where it is time, so t is equal to time, and k is nothing but the wave vector, and x, what is that x? Because it is moving in a positive x direction, so it can be defined as a displacement, because displacement is a term, a very well known term from your class 11 and 12, you are well known. So this is the expression, this is a mathematical expression through which we can represent a wave, right? Okay. But now I have to develop the Schrodinger wave equation, right? So first of all, we will make it in a second order differential equation, and so that we can easily put the various kinds of parameters, various kinds of energy, and each and every parameters with that. Okay, so for that, differentiate this equation. This is the equation number 1. Differentiate this equation with respect to what? With respect to which parameter? Yes, with respect to x, obviously, because it's a time independent equation. So what is that? So del psi by del x is a partially differentiating. Okay, and that is equal to psi 0 or psi naught. Sine means cos omega t minus k of x, and x is coefficient is minus k, right? Okay, so now it will be reduced, so that's why we are again differentiating with respect to x. So del to psi by del x2, that is equal to minus of k square psi naught, and this will be again sine and minus. We have already adjusted the value, so sine omega t minus of kx. Okay, so this term is nothing but psi, so we can represent it, that is minus k square psi. I think that with this expression more things will be clear that was explained in the Schrodinger wave equation, solution of the Schrodinger wave equation, where this expression is coming, right? Okay, so this is the general form of the wave equation, and we have the convert it to the quantum form. So this is the equation number. I am again writing the expression. I'm writing the expression, that is del 2 psi by del x2 plus k square psi equal to 0. Okay, so this is considered as equation number 2. Okay, so further solving, we have to convert it from classical form to the quantum form, but because now we are standing in a classical physics, because we have not incorporated any quantum parameters to it, but we have to eliminate the classical terms and we have to incorporate the quantum term. So what are the classical terms? Yes, the classical term is obviously this wave vector, because in quantum mechanics there is no part of k, because we have to represent in terms of quantum mechanics, right? So we have to eliminate the classical term k square and replace it by the quantum term. Okay, so for eliminating this k square, we have already calculated in a time dependent Schrodinger wave equation, that is k can be written as 2 pi by lambda, right? And what is k? K is nothing but the wave vector, and we have already studied, right? So it can be considered as equation number 3. So put 3 into the equation number 2, then we can represent in some slightly different way, that is del 2 psi by del x2 plus 4 pi square lambda square into psi equal to 0. So this expression we are getting, and this is considered as equation number 4. Right, so we are able to convert the partially the expression to the quantum term, but still now we have the another parameter, that is lambda, right? We have to eliminate lambda. Okay, so in this context I will use the concept of de Broglie hypothesis that you have studied in your class 12 level, in your chemistry, in your physics, that what is the de Broglie hypothesis. But today's lecture, I will give you an idea regarding de Broglie hypothesis also, right? Okay, so according to de Broglie hypothesis, what is known to us? De Broglie. So please notice that for studying quantum mechanics, for studying quantum physics, you must have the idea of the past what you have studied. Suppose your de Broglie equations, Planck's constant, Bohr's atomic model, everything. You should have the concept of that. Okay, so de Broglie hypothesis. De Broglie hypothesis, what is known that this lambda equal to h by mv. This equation is already known to us, and this is nothing but the elementary particle wavelength. And what is your h? H is nothing but the Planck's constant. Planck's constant, and this is nothing but mv, mass into velocity, means this is the momentum. Clear? So in this what I have said, that what is de Broglie hypothesis and etc. So in this context I must explain that what is de Broglie hypothesis. Okay, and after that we will continue our derivation. So please, I want to deviate this lecture to the very basics of de Broglie hypothesis. Okay, because you may not have an idea, or you may have forgotten the de Broglie hypothesis. So it's my responsibility to make you recall that what is de Broglie hypothesis and where it came and what is the objective, right? Okay, so suppose a little bit distraction, that de Broglie hypothesis. Okay, now de Broglie hypothesis, please note that this concept came at the year 1923. Okay, and what is this hypothesis? The hypothesis is what do you mean by hypothesis? It's nothing but a planning. This is nothing but an idea. Okay, so de Broglie hypothesis was a matter in the motion can be treated as a wave. Okay, so if suppose if some particle we dipped into some ink and we put it into the white paper, and if it is moving, so it will be treated just like a wave. So this is the concept he noticed. He discovered that a matter in the motion can be treated as a wave. I am again writing the statement: a matter in the motion, okay, uh, can be treated, okay, can be treated like a wave. Yes, and it's known as de Broglie hypothesis or de Broglie wave. Okay, so the first form was that is lambda equal to h by mv. This was his expression, and this is Planck's constant, this is velocity, this is the mass of the particle. Okay, so how can you define the length, the wavelength of the wave? That is lambda equal to h by mv. This was hypothesis. Okay, so we know that this mass into velocity, this is a simple physics, is a simple classical physics, that is mass into velocity is nothing but what is nothing but momentum, that is denoted as p. So these equation can be reduced as lambda equal to h by p. We can write it over here. Okay, and what is that p? P will be treated as the linear momentum of the particle or matter, right? So p is nothing but the linear momentum of the particle, right? Okay, so this is form 2. This is your form 1, the form 1 expression, and this is your form 2 expression. One more expressions are there till now. Okay, suppose the particle is moving. Please concentrate that we are now discussing the de Broglie hypothesis. After that, I will again continue our derivation from where we left, right? Okay, so this the form 1 expression, this is the form 2, and what is your form 3? Yes, how can we define the form 3 expression? Because a particle is moving. So there must be some energy, there must be some kinetic energy, there must be some velocity and everything. So what kind of kinetic energy it has? This is denoted as half mv square, because it has a mass, it has a velocity, so it must have a kinetic energy, right? And what is the velocity? Velocity, yes, velocity means we already know the momentum equal to p equal to mv, right? So what is v? V equal to p by m. So we can put over here half into m into p square by m square. This kind of derivation you have already done in your class 12 standard. So this is nothing but p square by 2m, or p equal to root over of 2m into e. This is well known, right? And from this concept, we have again written as that is what is lambda? Lambda equal to, we have again in form 2, that is h by p and h by root over of 2m into e. So we can express it in terms of energy also. So this is nothing but the form 3 expression. And here we must say that we have defined the form 1, form 2 and form 3 expressions, but where these expression came, because the mother expression is lambda equal to h by mv, but where it came, what is the concept of de Broglie, right? I am giving just a few idea of that. That is from the concept of that a photon, right? Photon means energy particle. So we considering that photon means an energy particle, right? We are considering particle because that's why we are studying the quantum physics. So this expression is well known to you, that is E equal to h nu, the energy. If it is equation 1, and from the Einstein concept we also known as E equal to mc square, this is the equation number 2. So these two equations are well known to us. Okay, so if we make it equal, that is h nu equal to mc square. And what is nu? Nu is nothing but the frequency, so c by lambda. So h into c by lambda equal to mc square. So this c and this c can be cut each other. So h by lambda equal to m into c, right? Or lambda equal to h by m into c, and c is nothing but the velocity of light, so it's a kind of velocity. Okay, so h by mv. So from this concept the de Broglie hypothesis came. So this is an additional concept that I am giving to you in this lecture. So de Broglie hypothesis, because we are using the concept of de Broglie hypothesis over here. So this is an additional part that what is de Broglie hypothesis and what are the various forms of expression of de Broglie hypothesis. Right? I think that this will make this lecture more interesting. Right? Okay. So now we are moving back to our expression that we left this one. This is the equation number 4, right? Now, this is the equation number 4. Okay, so how can we define that? Because okay, this was our expression, and this is a de Broglie hypothesis, and de Broglie hypothesis we are making. This is the equation number 5, because we have to put this value over here to eliminate the classical terms. So that's why we are making it equation number 5, and now we will put the equation number 5 to equation number 4 to eliminate lambda. Clear to you? Okay, so let's do this elimination. Okay, so what's just writing this one, that putting 5 to 4, right? Putting the value of 5 to the equation number 4, and what we are getting, that is del 2 psi by del x2 plus what was there, 4 pi square by lambda square, right? And lambda equal to h by mv. Okay, so this will become 4 pi square into m square v square divided by what? Divided by h square into psi equal to 0. Okay, so this is considered as equation number 6. Clear? Okay, so I think there is, up to this point there will be no doubts, right? Okay, now the moving particle, and we must use the same concept that de Broglie used, that's the energy. Energy is nothing but can be defined as kinetic energy plus potential energy. But in quantum term, the potential energy will be denoted by V, not P, right? Because P is already denoted as momentum. So we can write it over here, half mv square plus V, capital V, right? Okay, so E minus V equal to half of mv square. We can simple mathematics, simple elimination. So 2 into E minus V equal to what is mv square, right? Okay, so we are getting this kind of expression, right? But here, if we can use the concept of de Broglie hypothesis, that is lambda equal to h by mv and whatever term, so we can make it m square v square. If we make it m square v square, that this will be very much easier for us. So for this purpose, multiply both sides with m. Just your simplification. Multiply both sides with m. Why we are multiplying? It will be very much clear that we are getting that 2m into E minus V equal to m square V square, and that is equation number 7. Okay, now please see that why we are getting this, why we are multiplying this one. Please note that in the equation number 6 there was m square V square, but this m square V square again is a classical term, right? So we have to convert it to the quantum term. Very simple. So that's why we can put the value E minus V over there to eliminate this one. So this m square V square will be eliminated. This kind of expression, that is 2m into E minus V, right? So what we have to do? Put 7 expression, equation number 7. So this expression to the equation number 6. And what we are getting? That is del 2 psi by del x2 plus 4 pi square h square into 2m E minus V into psi equal to 0. Right? Okay. So according to Bohr concept, we know that what is your h cut? H cut equal to h by 2 pi. We already know. And what is your h cut square? That is equal to h square by 4 pi square. So this h square, here we have put this value h square. So what we are getting over here, if we put this Bohr concept, that is del 2 psi by del x2 plus 2m into E minus V divided by what is that? This is 4 pi square. Yes, this is 4 pi square by 8 square, right? So this is your 1 by 8 square. Okay, so this will be the denominator term, 8 square into psi equal to 0. Okay, so this is your time independent final expression. It's a very easy, but here we are considering the only one direction. But if we put our concept in the three dimensional, so x, y and z, so we can simply use the del square operator as we did before. And what will be our expression? Del 2 psi by del x2 plus del 2 psi by del y2 plus del 2 psi by del z2 plus 2m e minus v divided by its square into psi equal to 0. So this is in the 3D. Clear? Or we can say that grad square psi plus 2m by 8 square e minus v into psi equal to 0. So this is the ultimate expression. Okay, and more in a more convenient way, you can also write that is, or you can express is in this way also, del 2 psi by del x2, that I did in that harder explanation that I shared in a PDF format. That was 2m by 8 square e minus v into psi equal to 0. So del 2 psi by del x2 equal to minus 2m by 8 square e minus v into psi. And just exchanging the term minus 8 square by 2m del 2 psi by del x2 equal to e minus v into psi. Clear? And if we take the common of that, we can say that minus 8 square by 2m del 2 by del x2 plus this minus v, here it is getting plus v, so vx, it will be multiplied by psi of x, that is equal to e of psi of x. So if you compare this term with this expression with my previous lecture, I think this kind of similarity you will get. So the same thing that I am doing today in a very simplest way, and I think it's a totally understandable to you then how it can be defined. We have not used no many constants, no many assumptions, no more Hamiltonian operator and etc. But I have done in a very simplest way to get you understand that what is the simple step-by-step derivation of Schrödinger time independent wave equation. So please tally with my previously shared PDF. I think that it will be very clear to you that today's lecture is very simple. It's very simple. Okay, so enjoy this lecture, practice of your own. Try to derive the each line by line expression. Practice twice, thrice and more times what you can, and I think it will be very helpful to you. Okay, so till then, thank you so much for continuing this video lecture.